back to the podcast, everybody. If you can, please like, subscribe to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Follow us. Go to our link on Buzzsprout. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the major podcast platforms. We'd really appreciate it. And leave us 5-star reviews. It helps us out a lot. Okay, now that that's done, I have to do that every freaking time. We are back, and this time we're going to do an episode with myself. We have Evan Nelson here, who's also one of our hosts on our month review podcast.
Hello, everybody.
And put the camera on Sam, too. Look at Sam 2.
Sam 2's back.
Sam 2. Sam the second.
Yeah. Evan, I'll let you kind of tell people what we're going to talk about here.
All right. Hey, everybody. So a couple of different topics, but I think the first one that we should talk about is the drug Ozempic. Granted, this podcast, I guess you could say, is a little bit more in the realm of fitness. This is the realm that I kind of eat, sleep, and train in.
Yeah, yes, it is. And if people don't know, that's how we became friends.
Oh, do you want to kind of bring up that a little bit?
Actually, yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about how did we meet? How did we meet?
Evan,
what's our story?
Yeah, was it 2016? 17?
I think it was either 2016 or no,
it was 2016. I thought it was.
It was like
end of 2016, right?
I think it was like mid.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. We've been friends for a while. Whatever. So yeah, I was getting in shape. We were both involved with film and doing things, and I needed to get a personal trainer.
Yep.
And I found you. That's the best part about it, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So Evan, so everybody knows, Evan was my trainer for quite a while. You also helped me get ready for a triathlon. Remember that?
Yeah, I got you ready for a triathlon and what was it? Actually, a triathlon and a marathon, which yes, again, like you did, like a fundraising marathon.
Yeah. Oh, was that the one for your nephew?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, dude! I totally. That's terrible. I should say I forgot about that, but no, that's the marathon that I ran in my firefighter gear.
Yes.
Yo, dude. Yeah. Okay, can I be with you guys here?
100%.
I remember talking with you, and so everybody knows Evan's nephew did pass away from. We can talk about that. Yeah. That was a wild time, but I think that's also kind of what drew our friendship a lot closer.
Big time. Yeah.
But I saw there was a need. You know, your family was hurt, and you guys are going through a difficult time. I was thinking, man, there's got to be something I can do or we can do to help raise money or awareness for him and other people that are kind of suffering from the same ailment. So I had this sign made, and I put it on my firefighter gear, and I ran the Long Beach Marathon in my firefighter turnout gear, the coat, the pants, helmet. I had a sign that raised the money for Aiden.
Yep.
And I'm going to be super real with you, man. I remember starting that run. Okay. And we trained. And you trained me very well. You have trained me not just to gain muscle or even physique, but I'll tell you, hey, I'm going to be doing a triathlon. Okay. And you're like, give me a date. All right, man, here's what you're going to do. And you freaking lined it out. It was amazing.
Yep.
He got me ready for the marathon, which is awesome. So everybody knows he's an awesome trainer. But dude, I remember starting that marathon, and I got into the halfway through the first mile, and I was like, I think I fucked up.
Oh my God.
Dude, I was running, and I was thinking, I have like 25 and a half, 26 more miles of this.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be pure suffering. But I remember doing it and thinking to myself, I always do better in these marathons, ultra marathons, or triathlons, these endurance races I do when I'm racing for something.
Right.
Typically, if I do it for myself, I would say I'm serious about it, but I'm like, whatever, I'll train when I train and I'll get it done. But when I'm doing it to raise money for somebody or for an organization and bring awareness to something, it gives me a why, which we kind of talked about earlier, and it makes you push more. It makes you fight through that pain. And dude, I want to say there's probably a solid 3 times I thought to myself, I'm going to quit. This is so painful right now. And then telling myself, no, you're doing this for Aiden. And my little dog is up here. You are not allowed to be in the studio, Roxy.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my goodness. Anyways, but I remember doing that run, and the why was for you. For your family, and to somehow bring hope in such a tough and dire situation,
Yeah.
And I remember finishing that run and coming in towards the finish line, and you have that whole crowd. Everybody saw, like, who's this guy running in fire gear? And then I turned around, they saw the sign, and the announcer said, cheer Tim Fisher on, because you can see the name. He's running for Aiden, raising awareness. Let's give him whatever, right?
Yeah.
And gosh, it made me so emotional. I was thinking, okay, this is what it's about. Finally, people, they're seeing what this is for and who it's for and what we're doing, So, yeah, that was a crazy time, dude.
Yeah, man. It was a
crazy time.
Yeah, it was a very emotional time. And honestly, man, like that again, like that's something I will never forget. And I know that like my family fucking loves you, man. Like,
it's okay.
It's honestly that was an emotional time. Like seeing you, like again, we put in the hard work, but the fact that, dude, you did this, like, and raise this money. Like I didn't ask you to do this. You came to me and asked me, like, hey, listen, like, let me do this for you.
Yeah.
And because again, running a marathon is no joke. It's torture. It's torture. I could put myself through hell.
Yeah.
But I don't put myself through that type of hell. and like that's something where I'm like, dude, like give me something to lift heavy and like I'll fucking do my best. Yeah. But like running that amount of time, that's a different animal for me. So like the fact that you were able to do that and that you came to me like, listen, I want to raise money. I want to help any way I can. Even just doing that, dude, like that meant a lot to me, especially in that point in time in my life.
Yeah.
That dude, I'm still grateful for that. I'm still grateful for like that, like shows like it's stuff like that shows true character of like, like helping a person that's in need and helping a family. And you did that. And it means a lot and shows the character of who you are. And that's why I feel that like, we are still friends to this day.
Gosh,
like,
yeah.
Dude, like you're like, again, you're one of my closest friends. Again, you and the boys, man.
The podcast crew, man. Let's go.
And Sam too as well. You know Sam too. But like it's a big deal like to do something like that, and like I'm forever grateful for. Something like
absolutely, man. It's those bonds that you make with people over time, and to me, those are things that you take with yourself into eternity, right? I mean, it's good to raise money and do stuff, but reality is we're not going to take any of this stuff with us when we die. Exactly. When our time's up and the card's pulled, it's kind of what we do for each other, for your close friends and your close family or humanity or whatever you do.
Yeah.
To me, those are things that are kind of priceless.
Big time.
That you do. So suffering sometimes is a good thing.
Yeah.
You got to push yourself.
It's really funny. I was listening to a podcast and like, this whole entire thing of like don't complain in front of people or like when you're suffering and we always choose to, whenever we're going through this, like the challenges that life has to offer, it's like the suffering is part of.
There she is, dude.
It's like you talk about suffering. She's like, I'll cheer you up. She's great.
She's a good dog, bro. I love her. Yeah. I think it's her first time on camera, dude.
Wow.
My goodness, yeah. Just jumping into it, man.
Wow. Yeah. Suffering.
Just crashing the party right now.
But, suffering is, we're meant to, like, and this is going to sound really, like, sadistic or masochistic, but it's like, we're meant to suffer.
Yeah.
In a way, like, and I mean that in a way that's like, the suffering is like, we're meant to, here you go. Hang on. I'm just going to. You're so great.
We're going to interrupt this podcast right now and get my dog out of here.
She's so cute. So cute. And we'll cut some of this out.
You handled that very well.
Yeah. No, but man. I'll let you get back. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. So I mean, like, so we're meant to suffer in the fact that, the things that we go through, like hardships, I feel like they really show us who we are, who we could, or who we can be.
Oh yeah.
I think of like all the tough situations. I mean, like I'm sure that you can relate to this too and everything. I mean, like I know that you can, but so many things, like whether like all the trials and tribulations that we go through, the people that we lose along the way, like the betrayals, all the hardship that we like go through, and like we get kicked the shit out of by life, right? But if you think about it kind of like this, it's like, oh, this is like helping forging me into the person that I was meant to be. This is just, and when you think about it like that, it's like, you welcome the suffering a little bit more. You're willing to you're willing to accept it. Like, this is what it's going to be like right now. And this is like, this sucks. And it's okay to like, be like, yeah, man, fuck this shit. This sucks. So it's like, it's okay to feel that, but but also not let it control you and let it like go downward spiral where it's like you don't have any control over anything. It's just understanding that it's like, this is meant for me to like push forward to actually become better. Like honestly, every single time that I've ever had, a really low moment, and I've had a lot of them and they suck, all of them, but you embrace, like, again, like, I guess like for any Marines out there, it's like you embrace the suck, right? So you embrace the suck. You you literally like take it, and like it can literally forge you into such a better person. It could make you into the 2.0 version, 2.0 version of yourself. Man, what is up with me and words today? But that's like, it's meant to push you forward, because like where you're at right now, it's, and like some of the things that you go through is not fun at all, and like you never want to experience it, but it's also meant to be there for you, to push you for the next phase of your life. Oh yeah. My gosh, this is a good point to bring up. I love how we plan some of these podcasts. We just start and it just goes where it goes, dude. Suffering is one heck of a thing, and that's nobody's gonna be able to avoid tough times or death, And I read something pretty interesting the other day, and it was this professor he's a believer, Christian man. Yeah. And what he did is I think he said he had like a group of dads and moms get into a room, just to do kind of like a study. And he said he wrote out their child's story, right? He said, this is when your child's born. This is a moment they have as a teenager, good or bad. Then they go through adulthood, right? And this and that. It doesn't outline what it says. And then he gave every single person in that room that story. He says, you have 2 minutes to erase and rewrite this person's story. But remember, you take away some of those hard times, some of those lessons that they're supposed to learn are going to be gone. And that really spoke to me, because there are a lot of things I've learned through mistakes and through things that were out of my control, where I look back now and I think, oh man, like it was a good thing that I kind of went through that, because it made me learn. It made me stronger mentally and emotionally. Did it really suck at that time? Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. But as I've said on here before, and we always read, right? Smooth seas or calm seas didn't make skilled sailors. Right. To become a skilled sailor, you're going to have to ride some of those storms out. Yeah. And that's true with a lot of parts of our life. Yeah. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard, but what are you going to do? Give up? And I get it. There's a lot of times where, and I've been in that place where you think, I can't move. I can't move on from this. I can't get to this part of my life. It's going to be too hard. And then here I am all these years later, and I look back, I'm thinking, oh man, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. I'm good. It's going to be good. It's kind of like that episode we did about hope. Yeah. Honestly, that was a great episode. I'm still bummed out that I wasn't able to make it that time at all. I was like, I wanted to be here, guys. I wanted to be here so much. But honestly, you guys, like Jordan, Sam, I love you guys. I love you guys so much. I love all of you guys. And honestly, that episode, that's one of my favorite episodes. Heck yeah. And again, yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. And I think of it this way too. It's just like, it's the challenging times that we go through leads to the wisdom that we have, not only for ourselves in the future, but to help guide those who also go through those hardships. Yeah. I think of actually quite recently, crazy thing. It's weird, but like a lot of the people around my age, I have like a high school friend of mine. Her dad just passed away. And, it's just crazy because, just a year and a half ago, or a little over a year ago, like my dad passed away too. Yeah. And, it's still fresh. It still hurts. And I just saw that, and I just, I reached out and, said, hey, like it's a tough time right now. And just know that like your dad loves you. Your dad is proud of you, and like he's still here with you, and like it's because the thing is like and being here now, like you feel it and everything. It's like you feel like it's like and like there's still that time where I'm like, damn, like things are starting to go really well for me now, right? And I'm like, I wish I could just give him a call and just be like, Dad, like I'm doing it, like the things like because I feel like he only heard me struggle, and but like the thing is like I know that he's here with me. I know he's watching, and like it's like I need to like, it's like relaying that message to somebody else who's been in the same situation, it's just like, hey, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You're going to grow and everything. And it's going to hurt. It's going to suck. But, and just know that he's always with you. And, it's the things that, you can say and all that. But if you don't experience the things, like they're just words, but like,
yeah,
it's different. It holds different meaning when you yourself have gone through it.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing where I'm like, wow, like, and I do remember too, when my dad did pass, like I did have friends, or even like some of like, my fiance's friends, like, it's like reach out and be like, hey, like my dad passed like, a year or two ago. And like, this is tough. And like, they gave me, information or like, just like words of wisdom that did actually help me through that time.
Yeah.
And so, you pass it on to the next person. Whatever you learn, whatever hardship you go through, you're there to learn it. It's like the reason why you're learning it is so that you could become a better person yourself, but then you could better help somebody in the future down the line, because there's gonna be somebody that's gonna need your help.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So, absolutely, man. It's I want to say it's even why we're here on this earth, right? We're here to dude, life's hard. Let's help each other out.
Yeah.
Let's get through this together, And I think that's what's built such a strong friendship between you and me, and then even Sam and Jordan. Just our whole crew that we have is so solid. I really enjoy what we have going on and what we're doing.
Very.
It's just
close group.
Very close group, and it's for me as a man, it's great to have close men like that where you can honestly offload your stuff, good and bad, and there's no judgment. It's like, okay, well, yeah, that's gonna suck, but let's figure it out. Let's get through this. I'm not here to judge you, dude. Like, you're gonna beat yourself up enough if you make a bad decision or whatnot. But we're going to figure it out. We're going to get through it,
Yeah. To be able to be vulnerable with and all, and just, like have open arms with, like, again, like being able to like talk things out. And, like when tough times do happen, it's just like knowing the fact that, we're going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. So now with that being said, that was really good. I love it, man.
Yeah.
Okay. What is that drug that we talked about earlier for fitness? So now I want to kind of preface this for everybody. Evan, you are a coach, a fitness, let's say specialist. What would you call what you do, what you're certified in?
So I'd like to say that like I am a personal trainer and an online fitness coach. And and basically what I like to do is I like to help people get into shape. I actually like helping parents get into shape, just because I know that it can be a struggle, especially juggling like your kids' like schedule with yours and trying to like put food on the table, but also make sure that like you're doing everything for your kid and providing for your kid. But then it's like usually parents get left on the back burner.
Yeah.
And so, and like their needs and their requirements and like how they function, like their health, like it goes to the side while taking care of the family, where when in reality it's like you do need to focus on your health. You need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself so that you can better take care of your kids, and like be there for your family. And also, again, I think that like it really sparked a fire in me when my dad passed, because like he didn't take care of himself, especially the last 10 years of his life. And that really sparked a fire in me, and me like, hey, one, I'm a parent, I need to be healthy for like my son, like for our family. And I can only imagine like, the pain that I'm feeling because my dad didn't have enough time, or like he could have had a lot more time, but he chose not to take care of himself.
Gotcha.
I need to do something so that doesn't necessarily like, so that other people can have more time with their parents.
Yeah.
And so like, I really want to, or in the vice versa, have parents having more time with their kids.
Yeah.
And so like, I really focus on driving home, like, take care of the parents. Like, you need to take care of yourself, and I'm here to help guide you to a healthier life.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't understand maybe the importance of movement. Understanding what you put in your body matters.
Yes.
Drinking enough water every day. Are you eating out all the time, or are you trying to cook your food? Now, I want to say that with there are some people, I get it, your financial situation doesn't allow you to eat a certain way, possibly. Right? You've read the statistics, right? Kind of in the lower income communities, they eat out more because it's cheaper, right? Well, let's go to the dollar menu and get 10 things to feed our kids and ourselves.
Bro, dude, that was me in high school. Like, again, there was a point in time where like, my family wasn't doing well.
Yeah.
And like, quite literally, like my dad would just go to like Carl's Jr. and like I would have like, so like there'd be times like in high school where like we just like survived off of like Carl's Jr. cheeseburgers and chicken sandwiches.
Dude,
Like, and like that was like because like we were growing boys, like, and like we were playing sports, but like we needed food, but like we didn't have we didn't have enough food, so like we just got off the dollar. So I get it. Like I understand, I understand what it's like and everything. And
everyone's situation is different.
Exactly.
We totally get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about this too, is if I eat out now, I try to do it like once a week, right? It's a weekend, go get a pizza or whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember coming home from surfing late one evening. It was like last year.
Yeah.
I was starving. I didn't bring anything with me to eat, and I was coming home, and I remember stopping at Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought to myself, just get the double Western bacon cheeseburger. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to tell you, when I woke up the next morning after eating that, my fingers were tight. I felt puffy in my face. I felt bloated. Eating that food now impacts me so hard at an older age.
Bro.
And it's not that I'm old.
No.
But your body changes.
Yeah.
So taking all that in, like the salt and sodium, it was gnarly.
I got a similar story. So it was my best friend's bachelor party.
Vegas.
No. Actually, it was kind of low key. It was actually at his place, but it was just like a guy's just like a guy's night, and it was really nice. It was really like I loved it, and like I know that he loved it, and it was just all of us together. But at the end of the night, like because I was driving from far away, I actually spent the night. But yeah, he like they're like, oh, we're hungry. It's like, oh, why don't we get Del Taco? And I haven't had Del Taco.
Oh, Del Taco! My goodness.
Del Taco as a kid, like, again, it was like after high school, you just like, you walk to the local Del Taco, you'd hang out there, you have a couple of chicken soft tacos. It was great.
Yep.
Tim? Tim.
My man.
Sam, too.
So,
I had like 3 things off the menu. I had like a burrito and I had 2 chicken soft tacos because I was pretty hungry and I had quite a bit of alcohol that night.
Yeah.
2:00 in the morning.
Oh boy.
I wake up in a cold sweat.
Food poisoning?
Yep.
Oh.
But I didn't throw up.
Oh, the other.
Ooh.
And that's like lava, dog.
Let's just say I destroyed the portion. So
It'll get you, bro. It'll get you.
And it's funny because like that day, I started 75 hard.
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Oh
later.
yeah, but like that was the day that I was like, you know what, I need a change.
Yeah.
I have not had Del Taco ever since. And it's like it sucks because that was a childhood memory that like, I'm like I always had great memories of Del Taco.
That should be the first thing you eat once you're done with your 75 hard.
Oh hell no, I'm not going back. I'm not going
You
back.
lose another 15 pounds in the toilet.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, but I think the main point of this is like what you put into your body matters, especially as you get older. Actually, I was talking with another client of mine during a coaching call. It's like she went to a Beyonce concert actually last night, or no, not last night. Over the weekend, no, it wasn't the Beyonce concert. She had an event, but then she ended up drinking more than she was expecting to, and she woke up with a hangover the next day.
Oh.
And she's like, I can't do this. Like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh,
I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, I noticed that it's like, yeah, as we get older, like alcohol hits different.
Oh,
I remember like being like 21 in college, raging like the night before a college party and all that, like getting 3 hours of sleep, waking up, like, you know what, I feel good. Gonna go to the gym and I bust out a couple reps. I was like, maybe I couldn't get one more rep like I usually can, but I was like, that was a decent workout. Now it's like after like a night of drinking, and I won't even have like a crazy amount of drinks. I'll be like,
It hurts, doesn't it?
It's like I'm not like sick, but I'm not like better.
Yeah.
I just feel shitty.
Yeah.
And it's like not nearly as much.
I don't, dude, to be real with you, I don't really drink much anymore.
Yeah.
I'll have a beer every once in a while here and there. I mean, we're talking about fitness tonight. I'm drinking a beer right now, but
Balance.
yeah, but I honestly just don't drink that much anymore. And Sam, too, you've told me this before, where it's like, it's really important when you finally link, when you eat something and understanding how it makes your body feel and function.
Big time.
That is when, I remember when Sam, too, said that, it like clicked.
Yeah.
And that's why I just don't eat out that much anymore, because I don't like how I feel the next day or even that night, feeling bloated. You feel puffy, and then even drinking alcohol because of how much all of us work out.
Yeah.
Most of the time I get up in the morning, that's when I get my stuff done. I hate getting up and just feeling hungover and tired. And now with just a little bit of age, dude, going out, if I were to drink a lot and hang out late with somewhere with somebody, it takes me like 4 days to recover. Yeah. I can't just snap to it anymore.
Yeah. And you know, it's really funny. It's more and more people I talk to and more people I consume content from say the same thing. They say exactly that, where it's like a lot of people are just like, yeah, I just quit drinking just because it's like I didn't really have a problem. It's just I didn't feel like having like, you know, a 4-day recovery after, like it takes your body longer to recover from it.
Right.
Now, granted, it's like obviously I'm not drinking right now because I'm also on 75 hard, but
I was doing it.
but I do, like, I love beer, but it's like not like I don't love beer to like get drunk. It's just like I love everything around it. Like I like going to a brewery.
Yeah,
I like,
the atmosphere,
you know,
right?
The atmosphere, the people that you're with. Like, you know, it's not just the beer itself. Granted, I do like the taste and everything, but it's like it's special. It's like almost a ritual type of thing. It's like coming together. But I know that also I'm like, like I don't need to drink it every single day.
Right.
Otherwise, if I do, it's just like I don't feel good. I feel like mentally, I feel like in a fog. I feel shitty too.
Yeah, I got you.
And that's the reason why, like, you know, cutting back on drinking is actually nice, because like I'm like, okay, I definitely feel it physically, but the mental aspect of it is the thing that kind of gets me.
Get that fog away, man. I'm down with that. Now, one thing I want to talk about here is, you know, a lot of people think that taking a pill or getting a shot of something or getting on like short and quick fix programs, it's how it's going to get. And I'll say I have family that are like guilty of this, right? I even kind of thought this way until I really understood fitness and being healthy and how it really comes into working out and diet, drinking water and all that. And one of them is getting rest. Oh my God, you need sleep. That's how you repair.
That's a big,
it's a big one. Yeah, it's 100%. A big one. So, you know, it's a lot of times I've met a lot of people in my career field, like serving these people and helping them when they call 911, but also like my family where they're a little unhealthy, right?
Right.
And they think, oh, well, I got my blood pressure meds, I'm good. Or got my cholesterol, you know, medication, I'm good.
Yeah.
No. The medication that's prescribed to you because you have high cholesterol or high blood pressure is meant to help you get it down and lower and keep you regulated while you get healthy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can get off the medication.
Yes.
And live a healthy lifestyle, right? Doctors won't tell you that.
No,
they're saying, here you go, take it, right?
Because they get a paycheck.
That's what I was going to say, right? We're not to go full conspiracy, right? But healthy people don't make money for the pharmaceutical industry or the hospitals, right? Yeah. Sick people make money.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, no, just keep taking this pill. Oh, yeah, we'll fill out prescription. Yeah, keep taking this blood pressure med. It's like, no. These medications, when you're trying to get healthy again, is to help you stabilize your body, but also in the meantime, your diet and exercise needs to start playing into that, so you can drop that weight or get that health back and get off those medications.
Yeah, it helps aid you, but like it doesn't solve the problem. It just like it helps aid the symptom, but like it doesn't get to the underlying root of the problem. Yeah, which is usually, again, like when you have like high blood pressure, if like you like, you know, if you get diabetes and everything, it's like, it's usually because you're either not moving enough or you're like, your diet is shit, or it's a combination of both. Yeah. And you're not paying attention to like what you're putting in your mouth. Yeah. And so that's kind of where all this comes from, where it's like, you know, if you do properly diet and exercise, now, obviously, it's like if you need to go on medication, you need to go on medication. Like,
there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't want to be stuck on it.
Exactly. And so, like, my thing is like I'm not a person like, oh, like never be on medication at all. And I'm like, no, it's like if you absolutely need it, then it's like, and it's a must, then go on it. Don't make sure that you're talking with your like healthcare provider, making sure that you're doing the right things in order to help get your situation right. But you need to do the work too. It's not just the medication. It's like what you actually put into it. Because again, you got into your situation because of your actions or the lack thereof. Right. And granted, it might not be your fault. It might be the way that you were raised, and it's not your fault, but it is your obligation to yourself. It is your responsibility in order to get yourself back into a healthy state.
Yes. Well said. And there's one thing that's probably I'm going to say this, and it might make people upset. There is no such thing as being big-boned. I'm just to put that out there right now. You hear people, he's just big-boned. Like,
Well,
That's a
yeah. And Sam too could probably speak to this, a trainer as well. But there was a really good picture I saw in a health magazine.
Oh yeah, I know
work.
which one you're talking.
You know what I'm talking about? It was an X-ray, right? And it wasn't the two people were just laying next to each other. X-ray,
Like
They
a
had
DEXA scan, or like,
Right.
Yeah.
They had an X-ray of somebody who was thinner, right? And they showed it up there, right? And you see their body. You can see the outline of their skin, right? And the organs and the bones. And then they have someone was morbidly obese.
Yeah.
And you can see the bones, but then you can see the organs and the outline of their body and fat and everything. And it says nobody's big-boned.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think
It's a harsh truth. I just want to say it. I'm going to put that out there. There's nobody's big-boned.
Yeah, I think it's funny. It's like bone structure is definitely a thing because, again, if you think about it this way, it's like there's a reason why they're like bodybuilders, and like there are people that are like made for like bodybuilding. There are people made for swimming. They're made for sprinting. It's like based off of like bone length and like where, like, again, some people have wider hips, some people have smaller hips. But yeah, as far as like big bone, where they're just like, I'm like, what? Are you like Neanderthal or something like that? Like, no, we all have similar skeletal frames and everything, and obviously there are differences in that, but big bone is not one of them.
No,
it's
it's
like
not.
maybe bone length, but not bone
Right.
thickness.
Now, another thing that we talked about, what was that drug that we talked about? When I say drug, I'm not talking like hard narcotics or heroin or whatever.
But like pharmaceutical. Ozempic. And
Ozempic, yeah.
Ozempic is like it's a medication. It's a drug meant for people with diabetes, and it is a weight loss. Like it is for weight loss for people with diabetes to help kind of get them down to a regular.
To help regulate the diabetes as well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the primary focus of Ozempic is to mimic what insulin does.
Right.
Yeah. But this is where the media comes into play, is that the benefit, the big shiny object out of it is that yes, you do lose a lot of weight out of it. Oh, sorry, I'm just getting really excited.
No, you're good. Go for it.
But yeah, so this is where it's coming into the news, is that people who have type 2 diabetes needs Ozempic to help regulate their blood sugar levels, right?
Right.
But of course, people in Hollywood, or let's just say in LA County, even Orange County, they're coming onto it. It's like, oh, I get to lose weight super fast from this. Okay, I'm gonna buy all of it because I have so much money. So therefore, it's lower in the market now, or there's less supply of it in the market, and so the people who have type 2 diabetes are struggling to get this drug.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's why it's kind of a
Yeah.
hot topic. So people with type 2 diabetes, essentially it's a disease. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it is. Yeah. Like type 2 diabetes is a disease. You know, it is a disease like that you contract, you know, that like based off of choices that you have.
yeah. So that's kind of I don't know if controversy is the right word, but yeah, it's the supply of it's so low because these people are buying it up. People who don't have type 2 diabetes are buying it up because they want to lose weight quick. And so that's where the quick fix comes into play. It's like, we all know that that's not, anything quick is not good.
Right.
I've heard Tim say fast money is bad money.
Yes.
Same thing with anything health and fitness related. Anything quick is not going to sustain you for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah, you might lose weight.
But you'll gain back fast.
Agreed. Anyone that does a gastric bypass, like I know people close to me who have done it, and unfortunately, like they don't change their habits, and so they're likely to gain that weight quick back.
The actually, I agree. I agree with that. All of it actually. Ring that bell. Actually,
I know. I was like,
no. The
I'm just sitting here like watching you guys listen. I'm like,
I've been wanting to have a discussion like this with Evan for a long time. So
I love it.
Yes. It's like it's been a long time coming, Sam. Too. Yes, too long, Sam. Too long. No, I'd say with that. Actually, I do know people that have used Ozempic and aren't necessarily diabetic. Granted, with and one of them actually being a client, I'm not going to say their name and everything. I'm not going to throw them.
Jordan Jamiola.
I said Tim's.
Sam Komalafe.
No, but like he like so what they used they've been using the drug and like they have been losing weight. But here are the side effects that they don't tell you when like you're losing the weight, and especially if you're losing a specific amount of weight. You think it's gonna be easy. It makes your life a little more miserable. because what it does, at least the side effect that I have seen when it comes to the some of the stuff, basically the working out, it becomes a lot harder. When you work, when you are like, basically it suppresses your appetite, but it also makes you nauseous from eating.
Yep.
And
Diarrhea
so,
too.
And so when you're like, so you are losing a lot of weight, and sure, you'll be losing fat, but you're gonna be losing a lot of muscle too, which muscle tissue is. So think of it this way, Tim. Muscle tissue is expensive.
Oh, that's how I describe it too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's very expensive, meaning that it takes more energy to maintain muscle than like fat or like the other tissue. And so by having more lean muscle tissue,
Yeah.
you're burning more calories at rest.
Ring that bell.
Oh,
Ring that bell.
Let's go. So yeah.
Okay, keep going.
So when like you take a drug like Ozempic, yeah, you're gonna be losing a lot of weight, but it's almost like crash dieting, where it's like you lose a lot of weight, but you're gonna be losing a lot of muscle. And then if you're working out, sure, like you're gonna be trying to maintain some of that muscle that you're trying to hold on to, but your workouts are gonna be so much harder to recover from, because not only are you losing more muscle mass, but you are also getting nauseous from eating all types of food. And so if you're trying to get like enough protein in, forget about it. You're gonna feel nauseous, and like you're gonna have like maybe 1 or 2 meals, and you're gonna throw up or want to throw up and all. And so you're gonna be under eating. So basically, it's just a drug to help you like not eat or like under eat. And so now
is it almost like an appetite suppressant? Is that what you mean?
that's one of the side effects. And that's why they're like, it's a weight loss drug, but really it's not an effective way to lose weight, because the side effects do not outweigh like the benefits.
It's not for the long term.
It's not for the long term. It's very short term. And once you get off of it, again, then like you start to see the rebound and everything, because then you start to get hungry again. And so like your hunger cues come back, and then you're not feeling nauseous from eating anymore. So then you're like, oh man, I could eat again. It's not sustainable for the long term, but which is why it's like, again, there's, like you were kind of saying in the beginning, there's no quick fix. There's no magic pill that's going to help you like miraculously get to the,
just get shredded.
Yeah. Like, I mean, again, so like in the bodybuilding world, there are a shit ton of drugs that will help you like get shredded. But they come with side effects, and they could be dangerous, again, especially if you don't know how to dose them properly. And even if you do dose them properly, you do run the risk of like messing up your health. Right. And so when you're like when literally trying to like lose weight, you want to do it in a way it's gonna take some time, but you want it like the slower it comes off, the longer it's gonna stay off. And think of it this way too. Like, it's like if you need to lose like 40 or 50 pounds, you didn't get to 40 or 50 pounds overnight. It took some time. Yeah. Like, and sometimes, and for a lot of people, it just creeps up over time, where it's like they don't really pay attention to what they're eating, and they're going out and they're having like, they're going out on the weekends, like with their friends, like having a couple of drinks, going to a party here and there. And like, year after year, that compounds over time. And so then you look back like 20 or like 10, 15, 20 years down the line, and you're like, holy shit, like I'm 40 pounds overweight. Like, what the fuck happened? Well, it's like you didn't think of it this way. I like to think of calories and food in the same way that we think of like finances and money and like budgeting.
I use the same analogy.
Yes.
I like that.
So you want to think of it as that your calories is like your allotted calories for the day is like your daily budget, but for food. Because like, and the thing is like when like it's like people are so against like tracking their food or like having a food tracker, because it's like, oh, it promotes like unhealthy relationships to food. I'm like, well, it's like, how do you see the same with money though? It's like, if you want to see like think of it this way. If you want to look at a food label to see how much calories it is before you eat it, it's just so that you can have a more informed decision. Again, if you go to Target, sorry, Sam, too. If you go to Target, you see this, and you see like this totally cute shirt.
So cute.
It says Barbie Sunday Fun Day, and all that. And it's like you want to look at the price to see how much it costs, so that it's like, okay, is this worth spending the money on? Like, how much money do I have in my bank account? How much do I have to spare on this fun purchase? So just the same thing with your food. It's like, okay, does this align with the calories that I have set for my daily calorie intake? do I have enough food? Or am I getting enough protein in? Do I have enough calories to spare while also still getting my protein, like hitting my protein goal? It's like, if the answer is no, then it's like, okay, maybe not today. Maybe you can have it like another day. Maybe like, again, you can choose what you want to have, but make sure that you get what you need first. Budget your food, budget your calories like you would your finances, so that you're able to make smarter decisions with like putting in your body, just like, making smart decisions with where you put your money.
I might argue that a little bit on you, Evan.
Oh,
just a little bit.
Okay, let's
yeah,
go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't hear a lot of arguments on this podcast. Let's go.
All right.
That's why I'm here.
We'd like to be nice to each other.
No, yes, we are.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Don't
Oh, you're
worry.
good. No, this is good.
I'm
This is good. This is all good.
So Evan, I think everything you said, correct. Like, a lot of people can benefit from tracking, their calories, and not even like to a T, right?
Right.
Like, even like a loose tracking, if you want to say.
Right.
But the argument I would say is that the general population, most do stress over tracking, like a lot of them, just because they're like, oh man, I didn't get my 100 grams of protein. Now I have to chow down on 50. Like, this is a lot, right? So then they stress out, and then they get anxiety, and then all these things start to come into play.
Right.
I think, and you hear this all the time too, I'm sure, just focus on whole foods. That's like the biggest thing that you can do.
Real
if
quick,
you're not tracking.
so people understand, can you, this is not to like say that people are dumb, but if people don't understand whole foods, what does that mean?
It's like whole natural foods. So we're looking at vegetables, fruits, meats, right? Like your
Kind
lean
of
meats.
like the less processed, like at the least amount of processed.
Nothing packaged. Now, people will argue that fruits and vegetables from the grocery store are processed because they have to go through a whole system.
Right. So it's like they're less processed. But basically, if you're looking at a grocery store, stay on the outsides of the store, like and everything, and that's basically where you want to stay as far as like getting your groceries. Actually, you mind if I cut in with that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, like I actually I agree with you. As far as like people should be eating, they would be benefiting from eating more whole foods, but I think that's oversimplistic. The reason why I say that is because, like, again, like stressing out about like tracking their protein. I think that a lot of them don't realize how much they don't realize like actually how much protein that they actually should be consuming.
Agreed.
And so they're like, there should be like a little bit of like kind of stress, like, oh shit, I'm not eating it. It's like, it should be an eye-opening moment, right?
Yeah.
But I think that as far as like, I do say like this with empathy too, like for people who are not like, who do stress out about tracking food and everything. I think that as far as like, it may seem tedious. It doesn't need to be as complicated as people think. I think that is like how I explain it to a lot of my clients is that when you are tracking your food, it's like, one, I like to have people track their food just to see how much they're actually tracking in the first place, and like not necessarily focusing on hitting the goal or hitting the thing at first. I get into a habit of just tracking, just so that you understand how much food that you're actually consuming, and that you get in the habit of actually tracking. So that therefore that you don't feel stressed out and like you don't have a judgment. You're just collecting data.
So tracking, tracking your calories. So using an app like MyFitnessPal or MacroFactor or Carbon. These are apps that like these are digital food tracking apps that basically it's like a food diary. So it's a food diary of what you ate, how much calories it has, how much protein, carbs, fats, the whole 9 yards. But it's a way to, it's just like a food diary, and it's like to help you keep track of like what you're eating. Cause sometimes like if you don't track it, like, again, I know like I've trained hundreds of people and everything at this point in my life. And like every time I ask them like, oh, what do you eat? Like, oh, well, I ate, a salad and like some fish and all, and then they forget to mention like like the 5 slices of pizza that they had the night before, which is totally fine. Like, but like again, like people have like a short-term memory loss when it comes to like what they immediately eat. Right. So I think that it's beneficial for people to track, just to have an idea to know exactly what they're consuming, and then also
when actually having like, a week's worth of tracking and also getting the hang of actually tracking, then actually finding ways to get more protein in, to focus on hitting a calorie goal and a protein goal, and then like kind of fill in the rest where it lies, where it's like, again, like the rest of your calories, you could fill it up with however you want to do with like either carbs or fats, like whatever you feel more comfortable with eating. But kind of, I think that the general public needs to, like, we need to like learn more how to like comfortably track. And I think that that's something that a lot of the reason why people stress out, at least, again, like, let me know if like what you think of this, but I think that a lot of people stress out because like it's just such a foreign thing to them, and that they don't necessarily know how and all, and it may seem tedious at first. And so it makes it a little more overwhelming. And that it causes some of that anxiety. But if we just get into a practice of actually just doing it first, and then based off of the data that we collect, that we can make the finer adjustments to make it seem a lot more doable. And then like actually having more protein. Granted, again, it's like the whole entire protein thing where it's like, oh no, I'm 50 grams or 100 grams under my protein goal, like, and feeling stressed out. There is a thing where give yourself some grace, but then also like, okay, well, how much do we have? What are the foods that we ate? What can we change in order to help kind of bring up the protein and bring down the calories? And focusing on looking at more, like, again, like what you said, whole foods, like, again, like having more lean meats, chickens, fish, or poultry, fish. And then also like, again, like this is where like supplementation does help and everything, where it's like, okay, you can supplement with protein, not a protein powder, not necessarily rely on it, but like if you need to help get you to your goal, but you don't feel like eating another whole chicken breast to get there, like then having a quick protein shake to help you kind of get to your protein goal while also being able to eat what you want. I think that I don't think that that's necessarily too much to ask for people to do.
No. And I think everything you said is correct. And I definitely think that there's a time and place for that type of strategy. And I probably should make it clear from the beginning. In my head, I'm thinking the general American who doesn't exercise very much, who isn't very aware of their diet.
Yes.
In those, like we mentioned earlier, how you feel after you eat certain foods. Mm-hmm. Most of the general population doesn't pay attention to that.
Right.
It's if you sit them down and say, hey, how do you feel after you eat Chick-fil-A? They're like, oh, well, stomach kind of hurts a little bit after. I use the restroom the next morning. I'm kind of on the toilet for a while.
Right.
And then,
So good, though.
Yeah. But
So good.
If only on Sunday.
yeah. And then, and then when you point out, it's like, do you hear what you just said? Like you didn't feel good. So let's kind of minimize that. But anyways,
Yeah.
Again, I'm kind of thinking general American.
Yeah.
Like I said, everything you said is correct and time and place. But I think for the general, start super simple, because I feel like a lot of that can really overwhelm, again, the general population. And so these would be the top 3 things I would say for a client if they're starting from square one, is just focus on whole foods. And when you're focusing on your diet, just eat as much protein as you can, because you know how hard it is to hit your protein intake if you give them a certain number, right? Like you said, it's great to have a parameter and be
Right.
like, okay, your goal is 150 grams per day.
Mm-hmm.
For someone starting off, that's going to be super hard for them to hit that. So if you have them just be like, hey, free for all, eat what you can. Again, focus on whole foods. Try to get as much protein as possible, because we all know protein's a bit more satiating than any other food.
Right. And it has the thermic effect as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which for the listeners out there, like the thermic effect in food, especially with protein. It takes more energy to break down protein than it does fats and carbs. So you're so you're basically like, you're kind of burning more as you're digesting it. And so like you're kind of like using up a little bit more energy while also consuming more. So there is that also helpful fact. So again, regardless, like, again, this is a great like back and forth debate, but eat your protein.
Yeah.
Protein's important.
That is the biggest thing. Just focus on your protein intake. And when I say satiating, that means that you're going to feel fuller longer, right?
Yes.
If I put a baked potato in front of you and then the next day I put a steak in front of you, what's going to help you feel fuller longer? A steak. right? So
now a steak and a potato together.
Now we're talking.
Steak and potatoes.
talking.
Steak
Oh,
and
yeah.
potatoes.
But I also want to touch base back on a comment that you made about muscle being expensive tissue.
Yes.
Because it is. And I think when it comes to focusing on weight loss and wanting to lose weight, a lot of people think that they need to just go run cardio and do all this thing.
Yes.
Sorry, Tim, I know that you're a cardio bunny, but
no.
but you do lift weights too. I know you.
No, yeah, you're totally right.
But again, speaking general population,
Yes.
right? And so, if you focus on building muscle, again, going back to your analogy about
Right.
money and finances, I do the same thing.
Right.
So if you take two people, let's say they're twins, they both have the same job, right? One person's going to be investing money with their paychecks, and then the other one is just spending money from what they earn hourly, right? Who's going to be wealthier in the long run?
Right.
The one that's investing money. When you're building muscle, you're essentially investing in yourself because you're going to be burning more calories at rest the more muscles that you have.
Exactly.
So why not? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So when you're running, you're manually burning your calories, right? Versus if you build muscle and you're sitting at rest, you're burning calories that way too.
Right.
So why would
Preach.
So actually, yes, I want
Go
to.
ahead.
I definitely want to speak on that too. So this is like my thoughts on like cardio and like weight training. Now, obviously, it's like so someone like me. I love resistance training. I love lifting heavy weights. I love getting stronger. I love building muscle.
Never could have tell.
You know,
Never could have noticed, bro.
I just love it so much. But and so like cardio is not as much of a is not as much of a priority as far as things I look forward to doing when it comes to exercise. But there is benefit in cardio, but I like, and it can be useful in losing weight. And like, I think that like, again, like you have to be a moron to like say like, it's like cardio doesn't help with losing weight. You know, it
that's
totally
not what
does.
I'm saying at all.
No. I'm not saying that it is, but I was just saying like for any trolls out there that are just like, yeah, actually,
come at me.
Right, right.
But right. So, but I think that as far as like having a good balance of both are very beneficial. But I think of cardio more so like because like you can lose weight without doing like cardio. If you just move more and you eat less, like again, like without doing any cardio, you still will lose weight. It's going to suck a lot more because you're going to have to eat a lot less in order to achieve the same goal. And then also you're not going to be as healthy. And I think that the reason why you should do cardio is not because of like the fat loss benefit, but because of the quality and quantity of life. I think that working your heart is going to be more important for you for a longer, like for longevity purposes. I think that that's something that should be focused on more when it comes to if you're just a gym rat meathead and all that, you're like, it's like, no, bro, like I don't do cardio. I call it cardi. No. Cardi, no. But it's like listen, like you just pat them on the head and you're just like, all right, you little dumbass, don't worry, come on over here. We're gonna go on the Stairmaster for just give me 15 minutes, man, just 15. But like honestly, like people should get like at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity steady state cardio per week. Again, this is just like for like just general health. Obviously it's like if you can't do that, then just doing like low intensity steady state cardio, again, in very simple terms, go for a walk.
Yeah.
Go for a walk every day. And that's going to be just as beneficial. Yeah. Or maybe not just as beneficial. It's going to be beneficial. It's going to help you. And then also by the more that you move, the better it is for you. Like the more of the food that you can actually eat. So if you need to go on a deficit, like you'll be at a higher set point so that you don't have to feel like you're super starving yourself. But anyways, I'm kind of going off track a little bit. But again, as far as like with the cardio aspect, like I think that the general American or general person really who wants to lose weight, kind of piggyback off of what you're saying is like they don't track their food. Like they don't know how they feel after they eat certain foods. They probably don't drink enough water. They
Agreed.
most likely don't eat enough protein. And and they don't exercise or move at all. And so when they decide that they want to lose weight, they either like decide that just like, okay, I'm going to run on the treadmill as hard and as fast as I can and everything, and then end up hurting themselves or burning themselves out too quickly. And they're like, this is too hard and I'm not seeing any results, so I'm just going to give up. And then I'm going to just do what I've done, but even go harder and even gain even more weight. And then like they don't really like, they stay away from the weight room. And like, again, like with the people who want to lose weight, who tend to be women, try to avoid the weights area because it's intimidating, because you just see a bunch of freaking gym bros over there. And it's like,
I do think that's changing a bit though.
I do.
Since we started.
Yes.
Training.
Joey's swole, baby.
Yeah. Joe, we need to have him on. Joey, if you're listening to us, I love you. Please come on.
I have a contact for him, actually.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. Yeah, please. Okay.
But yeah, I do.
Sorry. But I think that as far as like, again, like it is changing, which is awesome. But like, again, the stigma was like, women don't want to be in the weight room. They don't want to lift weights because they don't want to look too bulky. Like, that stigma, and like, it's changing, but it is still there. And I think that it's like, we have it all wrong, where it's like, we just have to outrun a bad diet. And like, if like we just run enough and all that, then we'll lose the weight. Or it's like, or what some people do too, is that they just won't eat, or they'll just like, they'll have like salads. And like, they're like, oh, I don't want to have protein because protein makes me fat. I've had people say that to me.
If I had a book for all the outrageous things.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you say one of the craziest things that you've heard from a client.
Oh man, there's so many. Man, from a client. Oh man.
I have one.
Yeah.
If you want to think.
Yeah.
Okay. The best one I've ever heard. I was getting a massage, and normally when I get massages, I just want to relax.
Mm-hmm. But the massage person is like, oh, you're a trainer. Let me tell you. I've had that too.
Oh, you're a trainer. Let me tell you about all of my nutrition and exercise, which typically I love hearing this stuff. But, when I'm in a massage, I just want to relax.
Yeah.
She was like, so I'm only keto until 2 p.m. every day.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You're never in keto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, she's telling me her exercise plan, which is fine, and then she goes over nutrition. Yeah, I'm only keto until 2 p.m. each day. And I was like, what? And I had this slight moment in my head. It's like, do I talk about it with her, or do I just let it be?
Nope, you let it be.
I was like, I let it be because
Get your massage.
Yeah, here to get my massage.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah. I think the craziest thing was like, it was the protein comment, really. Like, it's just like, it's like, oh, I avoid protein because protein makes you fat. Or they'll say, it's like, oh, I had a lot of protein today. I'm like, oh, great. What did you have? I had an avocado. I was like, wait, what? Like some avocado? That's great. And I was like, yeah, it's a good source of protein. I'm like, it's a good source of fat,
but yeah,
it's a good source of fat, but also it's calorie dense and everything and all. Yeah. And then I was like, I had a salad today, and avocado, and yogurt, and I'm like, okay, where's your? Was it Greek yogurt? Nope.
Just add your protein, people. Just get your protein.
So,
but I mean, Evan, we can definitely go back and forth on all this for hours, right? So
yeah, I think as far as I appreciate your approach, and I don't think it's wrong. And I think that we agree on it. I think we're on just not different sides of the spectrum. We're on different parts on the spectrum. I'm probably at the very beginning of like your day one. Person hasn't done much. Now, I think so now this is like where I think this is where we kind of disagree, because I think that like overall everything that you're saying is great. I also think that, again, like if we think of the average American, if we switch them over to having more whole foods, and like, but they're like, I want my McDonald's and Chick-fil-A and like all this stuff, or like I want the stuff that's gonna be easy for me to make. Mm-hmm. And like switching just to whole foods, granted, you and I know that like whole foods can taste delicious, but like for people who like eat out all the time and eat fast food is engineered to make you taste
palatable.
Exactly. And sometimes whole food and like making that adjustment can be more difficult.
Oh, absolutely. It would definitely be a slow, gradual change.
Yeah. And so I think that it's like, I think that that's important, but I also think that where we differ is that like, on day one, like, again, having that simplistic, I think that that's a good guideline to go with. But I think it's like on day one, why not like show them the tools and get them used to using the tools from the get-go, just so that they understand what's actually going on, and like having them like going through a learning process of actually like having the tools at their disposal so that they're able to understand like what, like, because I feel like we do things the more that we understand it, right? And like, and when the more that we understand it, the more that we do things, like the faster that like we can kind of start seeing progress. And then the faster that we start seeing progress, the more motivated that we're going to be to stick with it and actually follow through.
But what do you do when the motivation's gone? Because motivation is an emotion, and it comes and
Right.
goes.
Yeah. So that's the thing too, is like, but like, it's not the motivation that starts it though. Like it's the action, like it's taking the action first. And by taking, what I mean by taking the action is like using the tools. And so it's like, if we start using the tools, that is the small action that we're taking. And then the motivation comes when we see the like scale starting to go down, and it gets, and like, then that's like when the motivation actually starts to come up, because we're actually like excited. We're like, oh wow, the thing that I did, the thing that like I was supposed to, or the thing that I've been learning to do, it's actually I'm starting to already see the payoff from it and everything. So like looking at those small wins and continuing to find those small wins week to week, so that like the motivation continues to stay there. Now, again, when motivation does die out, it's like focusing back on our habits and our, I guess, yeah, there we go. Yeah. So the behaviors and the habits, the disciplines that we create for ourselves in order to like stick to the program. Granted, and I also want to say this too, is like the program is designed to set you up to get you to your goal. Granted, again, life happens and you have to make adjustments. And I think that adjustments have to be made in order to get to your goal too. Like you could have the plan at the start, but then it's like when you actually go through it, you know, it's like, I mean, I'm sure that like when you're out, like, or like when like, you know, sailors are out at sea, right? It's like the waters are going to have them go this way and that, right? So they have to constantly like readjust in order to get back to the port, right? So same thing here, as far as like when it comes to like a plan, it's like when motivation is gone, then we rely on our behaviors that we have set up and our disciplines that we've created for ourselves in order to get us back on track. But I think that motivation, it shouldn't be the main factor that help get you to your goal.
Agree.
I think that it's like it's nice to have, and I think it's a great thing to kind of push you forward. But as far as when it comes to the start of it, it's like I think in my head, and I think of it too, is like, if like for me, something that's like outside of fitness, like if I'm a newbie in another realm, you know, I want to have the tools that will help get me there. Like I want to learn how to use the tools, like not just the general guidelines, just because like, again, the general guidelines tend to be too general. And like, again, like, yes. And I know that we're talking a hypothetical, like just the general American, but like, I'm thinking that like, for me, when I think of it, is like the general guidelines are great to have, and like you should have them, but then like you should be able to have some action steps like to take immediately, so that you can start seeing the progress faster, so that would motivate you to like stick to the program even more.
Ding.
What's your rebuttal?
What's my rebuttal?
I mean,
sorry. Again, I think all coaches are different. Let's just make that. All coaches are different. And so for me, yes, I always focus on habits and behaviors from the start. So yes, some clients are good with the stricter guidelines. Stricter isn't. Oh, sorry.
You're good. Stay over the mic.
Some clients do well with the guidelines that you're talking about, right? I'm just kind of going back to the general focus on the whole foods. Just move more. Focus on your sleep. Making it easier for them. So then when they get to let's just say level 2, then we can start introducing okay, here are your guidelines. 2,500 calories per day. Your goal is to hit 150 grams of protein. Now that you've kind of transitioned into this whole food-esque diet, now here are your guidelines. And then now here's your goal. So I'm sure like the first week, maybe they're only going to get to 100 grams of protein on week 1, week 2. They'll start to find ways to implement more protein, feel better about it, track how they feel, and all that stuff. I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry. Yeah, no, you're good.
You're not
and
wrong.
Evan wins.
I
I'm like trying to focus on the cameras and then this. Is
No,
you're good. You're good.
It's a lot, huh?
It
It's
is
a freaking lot.
It's a lot.
I
my mind
understand.
Yeah, I do it. There's times people understand like when like right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, like there's a lot of times where our schedules won't line up, and again, and we still gotta put an episode out, right? And I'm like, cool. Well, I'm gonna host. I'm gonna do the cameras.
Yeah,
dude, I gotta keep like the train of thought.
Yeah,
keep eye contact. Think about what you're talking about. Where are we going with this conversation? On top of hitting the button for that camera to go back and forth.
Yeah,
and the bell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the bell. I'm like, dude, people don't understand the amount of focus.
Yeah.
You have to be able to do all that. But all this to say, you guys bring up a lot of great points, and both of you have been my trainer. Oh, you got something to say? Huh?
I got something to say.
Dude, you know what? Go for it.
I'm sorry.
Get
I'm so
and
sorry.
it's just ready to.
I'm so sorry.
Your body's like shaking right now.
And then wants to tear me up. Go ahead. Go.
I'm not tearing you up. I'm just
kidding.
adding. I'm just adding
kidding.
to. But I think that as far as like the things that you're saying, as far as like like starting off basic, like level 1 and everything, like this, I guess like this is where it's like again, like you're thinking in the general aspect of it, and like kind of thinking of like the big picture of like how it should be, right? Like, would you say like that's kind of like a
summary of what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like I'm trying to make it as easy as possible from square one, day one for this general person.
Yes, and so like when I say guidelines, again, it's like they are general guidelines, but like again, like the first thing that I put like all my clients through is like I have them go through like a week of like doing these things of like, okay, I just want you to collect your data. Like I want you to collect,
you
like,
definitely need
and
that,
like, and so like, and like, that's kind of where I'm coming from, where it's like I'm looking at the individual, because like when us trainers are training, it's like we're focused on the individual, right? And so we have to take into account all of the things that they have to do in their everyday life, and then I think that like for me, what makes it simple is that it's like, okay, I'm going to give you these tasks to do. And that are, again, like breaking it down to the simplest form that they can follow through. And I think that as far as like when it comes to the actual, like the follow through, like what's the number one thing that gets a client to their goal? What's the number one thing for people to lose weight or gain muscle? It's adherence. It's about being able to stick to a program that you can be the most consistent with. That's going to be the most easy for you to stick with. And I think that, again, we both understand it and we both agree on that. I think that our approach may be different because I think in that
how do you
aspect,
stay consistent? Because you can write the best program in the world, give them the best nutrition plan in the world.
Right.
But
no, and then this is like where like having a coach and having a trainer really comes into play, because again, like we said earlier, it's like life comes at you fast, and like sometimes the plan is shit because like it didn't account for this event that wasn't planned for, right? So like things pop up in life, and that's where like that's where we make adjustments during the plan. It's like, okay, so like again, for example, I had a client who, again, this is like a small example, but like I had a client who trains 4 times a week, but then it's like her and her family were going on their very first like family camping trip for a few days, and they're like, oh well, I don't know what to do. It's like, okay, well, like focus on these fundamental principles of just like getting activity, like moving around as much as you can when you're at, like, again, this is where the general guidelines kind of make sense, where it's like just make sure to focus on your protein, like don't overthink it, eat slower, like stuff like that does make sense, but that's only after having some education or like some form of like practice already in place. Because if you throw somebody, like, again, I think that like why I think it's like overgeneralized when it's saying eat more whole foods. I think the general American doesn't know what more whole foods looks like.
Oh yeah, and you would definitely walk them through what that is.
Right. And so, but again, it's about that guideline as far as like making sure that like basically you're focusing on just I'm losing my train of thought.
Happening.
Yeah. So, but I think that as far as like when it comes to like having like small action steps and everything.
Agreed.
And like, so,
it goes
and
back
like
to the habits and behaviors.
Exactly.
What are you going to do when when that plan fails, or when you don't have the motivation to follow it? You fall back on your habits and your behaviors.
Right. And I think that as far as like, and also too, it's like, as a coach, it's like your responsibility, like to hold clients accountable, but also it's like, and I guess like every coach is different, but I feel like for me, it's like, I don't I don't like I don't make my clients feel like shit if they didn't hit their protein or they didn't hit their calories. I ask them, I'm like, okay, like, what did you do this day? Like, what did you do this day? Like, what happened? And typically the times that like my clients don't like hit their calories or hit their protein goals, and usually they hit under, not over, it's because like, life happens. I'm like, okay, great. This is a cool teachable moment where we can learn like, okay, so in times like this, what can we have in place that will help us in the future? And I think that it's like all these things that like, can be seen as a negative, or actually it kind of comes back to like the beginning of this podcast where you're like the struggles that we have are the hard times that we go through. Is like we're meant to go through those times to learn something, right? And same thing with the fitness journey where, there are going to be times where like you're not going to hit your calories, you're not going to hit your protein, you're not going to get the workout in, or the workout is going to be shit. There are going to be moments where it sucks, but at the same time, it's like, okay, like nothing goes your way. Like, but it's like, okay, well, what can I do better next time? What can I do better tomorrow so that it's not going to be like today? And so it's like, okay, I didn't hit my protein. Well, like, why is that? It's like, okay, well, I skipped breakfast because I slept in a little bit. I slept past my alarm. I wasn't able to make breakfast, and I had to get to work, and I didn't plan. I didn't prep food in time in order to to have a healthy lunch. So I actually had to go out and get Taco Bell. And then like I came back and like I was just so tired and drained from the day, and so I didn't have enough time I didn't feel like making like any whole food type of dinner, so I just ordered some Chick-fil-A, and so it's like kind of learning how to like kind of looking back and reflecting back. It comes back to again the same thing that we do agree on. I just think that as far as small habits like tracking. I'm a fan of tracking because I've trained people not tracking food and trained people tracking food, and every single time the people that track are the ones that get results. And I know that's like more anecdotal, but with all the clients that I've trained over my, it's gonna be 10 years.
Woo.
I've been a trainer for 10 years this November. That's crazy. Damn,
excellent.
Time flies. But that like having like that much experience and like having clients who like don't track and clients that do track, it's like overwhelmingly the people that do track and the people that have given general guidelines, it's like it's good to have general guidelines, but you need to point them in a little bit more of a fine-tuned direction so that they can have something easier to follow.
To be clear, I'm not anti-cardio and I'm not anti-tracking. For the listeners,
Oh, no,
just letting you all know.
No, I'm sorry.
I definitely think there's a time and a place for tracking for sure. But again, we can go sorry, Tim. Again, we can go hours for this, but
Yeah.
Evan, my question for you would be to kind of wrap it up.
Sorry, yeah.
What would be your top 3 things that you would tell a client that just wants to live a healthier life?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Top 3. Dang.
Because hopefully we didn't confuse our listeners at this point.
Top 3
Sorry,
things.
Tim.
So top 3 things. So number 1, walk every day.
I like that.
Walk
Yes.
every single day. Get some form of movement every single day. Like the more you move, the better it is. And
Movement's very important.
Yes, and getting outside and going on a walk. And you can listen to a podcast if you want to. Maybe this one.
Let's go.
Let's go. Or you could just unplug and just like kind of just be outside and be in the moment. I think it's really good not only for like your physical health, but for your well-being as well. I think that's something that like walking, I think is highly underrated.
And your mental health.
Exactly.
I love going on walks when
Yeah.
if I'm having a tough day or something like that. It's nice to just get out.
Big time.
And hi everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
No, and that's not to cut you off, but
Yeah.
like just to get out and move. You
Yeah.
don't, not to go do the things I do, like run 10 miles and trail runs and mountain bike and all that stuff, but the movement and getting that sun on your skin.
Yes.
Fresh air.
Yes.
So important.
So the next thing I would say, there's like, I have like a list of things of like, these are the things that are going to help you live a better life.
You got nailed down, bro.
3 things, just 3. Okay. Top 3. Fuck.
Obviously, there's more, but
There's more. Okay. Yeah.
Diet's going to be one of them, right?
Huh?
Diet? Is that falling there?
Well, yeah.
mine, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say like, again, like with, the diet, like having proteins, fruits, and vegetables, like having that, like having those in your diet every day, focusing on protein, fruits, and vegetables, because like, again, the protein, because like, it's gonna keep you full. It's great, for recovery. It's like, again, like it's not, like it's great, like to help repair the muscle and everything. But that, and then the fruits and vegetables, because it's the like the fiber as well as like the vitamins and minerals that you get from it. So you're gonna just like, if you eat those three things, like those three categories every single day, you're gonna feel great. And then like, damn, the last one is really tough. Because again, like knowing me and looking at me, it's like resistance training, and like, but like it's tough because it's like, do I go with resistance training or do I go with sleep and recovery and actually having a proper amount of sleep? Because actually, I think that sleep is going to be like, it's actually funny enough. Like what was it? Like heart attacks go up for people who like lack proper sleep. Like over a long period of time, like their risk of heart attacks skyrockets. So it's like, I would go to sleep, but then also it's like drinking enough water, because I feel like a lot of people don't drink enough water.
Yeah, but you can get your water intake through fruits and vegetables. Again, top 3.
Yeah,
of
true.
course, hydration's gonna fall
Hydration,
into.
yeah. So
Dude, such a protagonist over here. Good Lord.
I'm gonna go. Okay, my top 3.
Yeah, but no, I'll go with the sleep and recovery for my third one. But like, I'm like fucking lift weights, but top 3, those are my top 3. And like, even though,
so run through them real quick. Your number 1 was what?
Number 1 was walking. 2, protein, fruits, and veggies. And 3 is sleep and recovery.
I like it.
Perfect. It's hard to rank them, but I would say first one for me would be sleep and recovery, just because you can, again, follow the best diet plan, follow the best training plan. But if you're not recovering well and you're not sleeping, it's going to be very hard for you to get those adaptations and those benefits from doing those things. Not saying that you won't, but you won't get the full benefit of it. So number 1,
no. Sleep is super important as far as like also
it's when
like,
your body resets.
Yep. And like also if you want to lose weight, it really helps. Like again, if you're doing everything right and you're still not losing weight, look at your sleep. If you're not sleeping enough, try to focus on getting like a solid 8 hours of sleep every night, and do that for a week and see what happens.
Yeah. So number 1, sleep. Number 2, agree with you, getting movement outside. Doesn't have to be exercise where it's planned reps and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Walking, gardening, just getting outside and getting the sunshine, getting that vitamin D helps so much.
Preach.
Number 3, going back to my whole foods. Less processed foods, people. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think it's like we kind of like have like the same. I think we have the same top 3 and like
I mean, both of you have been right on this whole conversation. It's actually been interesting. But usually I'm always the one like, kind of leading the conversation, but to sit back and hear you two talk, it's really good. It's informative, because both of you have trained me throughout the years, and so everybody knows Sam too does have a master's degree in kinesiology. You have your certifications, you have yours. You both are in the fitness world. Yeah. So this comes from 2 very educated people. So it's good to see you two talk it out. And from my standpoint, you guys know I do a lot of hard distance cardio, extended distance cardio. Not enough? What are you talking about?
Damn, Sam too.
More.
No way. No, I mean, I've been mountain biking a lot more, which is nice.
Hell yeah.
But I'll tell you from firsthand experience, I can tell when I lift weights more consistently and heavy. Yeah. This is not to like bulky, but when I lift weights, I do shed weight faster than when I do my hard cardio and long 15-mile runs and 50-mile bike rides. And, I can feel it at night too. When I lift, I'm consistent with it, I find myself waking up in the middle of the night hungry. Which is probably
good.
Bad. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But whatever.
Metabolism is increased.
Right. Yeah. Whereas when I cycle, I don't get that. Right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm burning a lot of calories. I would say my last mountain bike ride, I did 15 some odd miles with like 2,500 feet of climbing. I burned almost 2,000 calories. Yeah. But it's like at that point.
Humble brag.
Yeah. Not enough. But it's a lot, right? And then when I do some of these long distance runs, it's the same thing. You're out there for hours. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Whereas when I go and train with both of you, right, and I'm lifting heavy, I go in for maybe 40 minutes. Yeah. And then my body, as I've learned, it's burning those calories overnight. Yeah. Without repairing burns. So for me, I'm not the specialist in that. But I have seen it through the exercise and the regimen that both of you have had me on at some point,
Right.
being a trainer,
Yeah.
So it's firsthand experience. Everything you guys said are spot on.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
next time you need to give us one topic.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Like I think as far as I think it's funny because like you say all this like now, even though like cardio and well, I guess cardio was somewhat in our top 3, like somewhat like because like low intensity steady state is still like technically cardio, right? For being like pedantic about it, right? But like no, like but I'd say like even though like it's like cardio and lifting wasn't necessarily like super like top 3 for us, I would say that like you want like a better quantity of life, do like have a cardio regimen. If you want to have a better quality of life, have like lift more weights or do some resistance training.
Right.
And I think that doing both of them like you shouldn't do just one or the other. They should work synergistically together. Yeah. And I think that big words. I'm educated. I have a degree, but but no, I think that as far as like like when you lift weights, it helps your running, and when you do cardio, it actually helps you perform better weight training. Yeah. It's like so they work well together, and obviously it's like depending on what your specificity is. If it's like if you are more of a distance runner of like a distance athlete, then yes, having a form of resistance training is going to be important to have. But like you're not going to go like a powerlifting style. Like there will be a strength training component,
right? But
it's like it's in service of you being better and more durable for your races. And like if you're a bodybuilder, it's like there's no way around it. You're gonna have to do some cardio and all, but they're doing it more to like lose weight. But like again, like there are aspects of like cardio that will help you increase like your overall workload, work potential for like those high volume days for training too. So it's like both work well together, and you should do a form of both. Yeah. They're both beneficial, and everybody should do weight training and cardio. Yeah. And that is what I have to say.
Yeah. Basically what it comes down to too is like, there is no quick fix when it comes to your health.
Big time.
You need to just start taking control and having discipline with your life. And we're not saying to be extreme.
Right.
It doesn't mean, getting too crazy and counting macros and micros and all that stuff. But, pay attention to what you're eating. Pay attention to what you're drinking. Now, we're not saying be so strict that you don't enjoy life. Dude, have a day out of the week where you go and enjoy food with your family. Yeah. It's totally okay.
Dude. Yeah. I like, and also like, and this is also for now, like as far as like when I say tracking food, I don't mean by being strict. Like I don't mean by like it's like okay, you have to try and like you don't have to like hit every parameter. It's like oh god, if I hit my calories, but then I'm not gonna hit my fat goal, and then I'm gonna go over on my carbs. Fuck, I'm not saying that. It's just like overall, just general tracking, just to get a better understanding of what you're putting in your body. Yeah. Like on a calorie and macro level, but. What I do say is like, and this is like a thing with my clients too, is that I want you to give your body what you need and everything. So, vitamins, minerals, protein, and being able to hit your calories, but I also want you to have what you want. Because again, like the thing that I said earlier, like the thing that's going to make a program work is adherence. And so if you can't stick to a diet, then that diet's probably not great for you. The best diet is the one that you're able to stick to. Yeah. And so, if, adding in more whole foods and all that and having more protein in your diet, but then still leaving room to have that Chick-fil-A. I'm sorry, I'm just relying on Chick-fil-A because like you said it, and I was like, that's all I think about now.
My mom calls it chicken fila. And it like starts to bug me. I'm like, it's Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, it's like chicken fila. Yeah.
I'm like, dude.
But like, it's like what having what you want. Like, I mean, again, like for me, I love Krispy Kreme donuts, and I know that there are people out there that are saying it's like if it ain't in the pink box, I don't want it, and like you know what? That's fine. That's okay. You snob. Like it's all good. Like I love the pink box too, but you know what? There's something about Krispy Kremes that I just enjoy. I love their like again. I can't have it right now because I'm on 75 hard, so it's okay. But the thing is that when you are going into a diet and this is like for just regular like lifestyle, you're just trying to lose weight. You're not in a competition. You're not in like a sporting event. You're just focusing on just trying to lose weight. You don't have to give up the foods that you love. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that people don't understand. It's like you might need to cut back on it, but you don't need to cut it out completely. You just need to add in more stuff that's going to make you feel good.
Yeah.
And then you can also treat yourself by having some of that food that you still want.
Right.
I don't think that I don't think it's I don't think it's a good idea to just like go cold turkey with a lot of the foods. Granted, there are some people that do have an issue or like do have a problem, like a actual literal food addiction, where it's like, okay, that's a whole entire different beast, and that, like, okay, like there definitely needs to be some type of counseling for that. Yeah. But like for the general population, people who want to lose weight, they don't have to they don't have to cut out, like they don't have to suffer nearly as much as they need to in order to get to where
I think that's what people think too. They think they have to, change their diet and suffer in it all. But like, best thing I can say when it comes to food, because we're gonna wrap this up though, I just say like moderation, man. Yeah. Like for me, a good thing people can get into, especially if, like, we live in Southern California,
right?
In the relationship, marriage, whether you're married or not married, living with somebody, pretty much both people are going to be working. It's expensive, right?
Yeah.
The best thing I did is use meal prep.
Yes, me too.
There are places that I go to where I just get the meals at the beginning of the week, and I have it all week. Yeah. And it's portion controlled. It has plenty of protein, carbs, and veggies in it, and you're good to go. And all I got, it's made fresh. You just got to heat it up, put it in the microwave, and you're good to go. That has helped me so much because a lot of us, it's not just me, our schedules are busy.
Yeah.
We have a lot going on, and especially with those with families.
Yes.
And a lot of times you don't have time to buy all the food and come home and then meal prep for hours on end, right? You have kids, you have responsibilities, you have things you need to do.
Yeah.
There are other things you can do to do that, which is like meal prep companies.
Yeah. And I agree. I agree with you. Actually, like we meal prep, we have a meal prep company that we use too, at least one of our meals for the weekdays. Because on the weekends, like, okay, we can cook a little bit more on the weekends, but just something to help us during our busy schedule during the week. But what I do is that like I'll have like one meal that's designated from the meal prep company. And then what we do is that like we'll cook just like in bulk of like a protein source and a veggie source. And like, again, if we do have some carb, like I'm on a little bit of a lower carb right now, like not necessarily low carb, but like lower.
Yeah.
And so I just make sure that, like we just cook in bulk of that and we just put it in big containers so that like we can just kind of pick at it like throughout the week, or like we can like scoop it out and like and measure it out and everything during the week when we need to make a meal real quick. It doesn't need to be hard where you don't have to cook every single day. Also other stuff like protein shakes, Greek yogurt, that like stuff like that are going to be really quick and easy that like you're like, oh, I could just kind of grab and go and everything. That's like making it easier to be healthy.
Yeah.
And like making it easier to have a healthy choice.
My goodness. Well done, everybody. Good job.
I'm sorry.
I think no, it didn't take long. I think we'll have to talk about this. I think we're gonna have to have a health and fitness segment.
Part 2.
I'm down.
What?
Constantly.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Remember,
let's go. Yeah.
Just one topic.
We'll talk about it. But no, this is great. I'm glad we talked about it. I mean, all of you hit on great points. I'm not an expert in this, but it's good to have these conversations. It's good to talk about it back and forth and see what your view is and see what Sam T's view is. And you hear me just from personal experience because both of you have been my trainers at one point and you've done well for me. And it's taught me a lot. It really has. So I think these are conversations that are good to have and for people to realize the importance of movement, physical fitness, and there is no quick fix. There is no diet pill when you go to, are there still GNCs around? I don't even know.
Yeah.
But there's no diet pill where you take it and it's like, oh, it's going to just shit all the calories off. No, you need to put the work in. And that comes with hard work and discipline. And it really does fall on the person. Yeah. You can't teach motivation. Yeah. That's the hard part, man.
Exactly.
That is so hard.
You want to be proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. Yes. And like, again, like the thing with like supplementation, it's like, it counts for about maybe like 3% of the actual getting the results. Yeah. The majority of it, like that's just like, it just helps with that extra little 3%. But if you're expecting that 3% to take you that full 100, it's not going to happen. Yeah. You need to put in the work. You need to actually, it's like that Kim Kardashian. It's like, you need to put in the work. Oh my God, dude. It's like, she definitely put in the work, if you know what I mean. Ring the bell. Oh no!
My God.
But anyways, again, we can go on.
Yeah,
if
no,
there's-
I think we'll talk about it after.
100%.
But thanks you guys for being here in this episode.
Thanks, guys.
Man, Sam, too, you're having a hard time with those cameras. Holy crap! The whole time I'm like, camera, here, like, come on.
Sorry.
It's a lot. No, that's why I tell people, I'm like, you think this shit's easy? Like,
No.
it is tough when you're trying to host a podcast
Yeah.
and make sure the audio's on and control the cameras while staying locked into the conversation. It's like, whoa, it's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
People don't know the work that goes into this. I
Big
love
time.
it. But why don't you lead us out, Evan?
All right. Wow. Well, everybody, that was a great time today, and I think that I can't do it as great as Jordan Jimiola does. But thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. Honestly, Tim, Sam too. It's been an awesome honor. I love hanging with you guys. But let's go ahead and get a let's go on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, dog. You guys got that down. Thank you so much for listening in. If you liked what you just listened to, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast and on Spotify. Please follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And a big shout out to Stephen Clark, our sound editor. He's a huge part of this team that is unseen. It's 89 Barbers, our first sponsor. Look good, feel good, be great. That's 2 locations, Orange, California, and Long Beach, California. Book your appointment online, 89barbers.com. Bye, everybody.